Today for dinner we are having cheesy meatball casserole over 0-carb fettuccine. So if you've been missing your fettuccine noodles, today we're going to make up for that. And we missed them too, so we're going to try this fettuccine. Got some various cheeses here, eggs, beef, cilantro, olive oil, low-carb sauce, 0-carb bread for the side. Let's get started. Our first customer is already lining up at the door here. Are you ready, Migs? Are you ready? Oh, did you go?
All right, we're going to get started by making the meatballs. I've got organic grass-fed ground beef. This is also something you can get at Aldi. And the serving size is 6 ounces. There's 2 of us eating, so that would be 12 ounces. This is 16 ounces. We're just gonna throw the whole thing in, but we didn't want to confuse all of you in the, when we put 12 ounces as a serving size.
We do have someone who's interested in leftovers there already, so.
And then we're gonna add, got a little bit of this left, mozzarella. I can open it. I don't think this is a half a cup, so I'm gonna get this out. So the mozzarella, yeah it is. The mozzarella and kind of replaces the breadcrumbs, because you'll see we don't have any breadcrumbs in these meatballs. And then this is going to be 1/4 cup of parmesan. And you can use the, powdered stuff
okay.
if you want. This is just, we had it and we bought like a gazillion pounds of cheese on our last trip, and now we're trying to figure out ways to use it.
Now is this other bag out just because?
Yeah, I didn't think I'd have a half.
Gotcha.
I will need a half more for the top though.
Gotcha.
When it's all said and done.
Okay.
We're gonna put a whole egg in. Technically, the serving would be a half an egg, but we're gonna put an egg in because we've got the extra meat, and I don't feel like splitting an egg in half. So I don't have.
We won't even notice.
I'm gonna use this knife. Don't try this at home because I don't have a fork or a whisk.
Because our dishwasher is going?
I don't know.
You're just close to a knife.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and pour that in.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna add all of the spices. So got some onion powder here. Instead of putting real onions in, which just adds to the amount of carbs, we're putting some onion powder in.
Great. How much was that?
It's 1/4 teaspoon. I make it heaping. And then I don't own Italian seasoning, so I'm just gonna create my Italian seasoning. It would be about 1/8 teaspoon of basil. So I'm making about half of that. I'm gonna go ahead and put in 1/4 teaspoon of oregano. But if you have Italian seasoning blend, you can just use a 1/4 teaspoon. And then we're going to add some crushed red pepper.
One of my favorite parts.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to do heaping there.
Great.
This is optional if you like it spicy. We do. Then to put 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne. And then salt and pepper, what would probably be the equivalent of about 1/4 teaspoon.
Also, we're preheating the oven to 400.
And then 2 cloves of minced garlic. We like cilantro in our meatballs.
We do.
So,
And just about everything else.
so some people like parsley with meatballs. It's very Italian, but we like cilantro. It tastes pretty good. So I don't know what this is going to end up being, but I know we will eat it. So cilantro probably has some very minimum amount of carbs, but this is such a small amount. can't imagine that this is going to increase your carb count. So we'll add that in there. One of my favorite meals is Jody's meatballs. That's not what I meant. I mean, those are nice too, but.
Welcome to the Dirty Chef with your host, Shelly Simmons.
But hopefully this will be close to what Jody makes. And it'll be, you know, minus the breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
That's probably about it, right? It's just missing the breadcrumbs. And you could technically add like almond flour or ground up pork rinds if you wanted to.
How many meatballs will this actually make?
I have no idea. That's a good question.
Because
Not
I can
sure
tell
yet.
by looking at it, when I make that batch, it's like a full tray. It's like 24 meatballs or something like that. But we always have at least one more person here and leftovers.
Yeah. So now I am going to form the meatballs. And then I'm going to go ahead and use some olive oil spray.
Is that a 9-inch pan?
Yeah, I think so. It's a little too much. Just go around the sides there. And then I'm going to go ahead and make the meatballs and put them right in. We're not sure yet how many this is going to make. So, anyone want to guess? Do you want to guess?
I am going to say that is going to make 12 at most.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm going to say it's more likely 8. Okay, I won. Got 12 big boys in there. That is probably about 2 inches across each one of those meatballs. Probably 2 inches.
Maybe.
Yeah. We weighed these meatballs with our trusty scale back here, and they are between 1.5 and 2 ounces each. And so a serving size would be 4 meatballs.
Okay, so they go in the oven just like this for 15 to 20 minutes at 400 degrees. While the meatballs are cooking, we thought we would talk a little bit about what is going to help make this meal low carb. Because usually an Italian pasta meal is not anything but
It's
low
all
carb.
carbs.
It's all carbs. A lot of people don't realize that there are a ton of carbs in spaghetti sauce.
Yeah, really.
So we've done our research in this brand right here,
Yep.
which I believe you pronounce as Rouse.
I
Right?
pronounce it Rayo's.
Rayo's.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I think Rouse too.
Yeah. Is the best brand that we've seen for spaghetti sauce. And so normally a lot of people say get the marinara, but they had this kind, which is spicy, which we like spicy.
How do you pronounce that?
Arrabbiata?
I think so.
I don't know.
I'll go with that. Yeah.
Maybe one of our friends that from New York
Yes.
will
Don
correct
Kenny,
us.
we're looking at you, buddy.
So the carbs in this, total carbs is 6, but it has a gram of fiber, so it ends up being 5 net carbs
Per quarter
per
cup?
half a cup.
Half a cup. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. So that's not bad. I think like regular spaghetti sauce, like a marinara, is anywhere between like 12 and 20 something.
Wow.
So you got to really kind of watch that. So that's one thing. The second thing that we're going to use are these cool noodles now.
And this came from Amazon. I don't know anywhere locally that we can buy these, right?
You can get the angel hair pasta.
Locally?
Well, it's not this brand, but
Okay.
if you go to an Asian store,
Oh, yeah.
you
Yep.
can get a angel hair version of this. So these are not noodles at all. This is konjac or cognac. I don't know how you pronounce that. Which is, I think, Chinese or Japanese yam, maybe. Anyways, it's also known as a shirataki noodle. And so this is the fettuccine style. It will not taste like pasta, just like they have a rice version. If you ate it plain, it will not taste like rice or pasta, but it has the texture of it, it has the look of it, and when you mix things in with it and you use some flavoring, spices and stuff, it will take on the flavor that you think you should be eating, right?
We've made pad thai with the angel hair version before we had this, and that pad thai was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably the closest substitute you'll get as a zero carb person now.
Yeah.
Low
And
carb
the really cool thing about this is, and I wish we had some real pasta here to show the difference, but this has 5 calories per serving. There's 2 servings in here, so 10 calories for the entire package.
That's awesome.
And 0 net carbs. There's 2 carbs, but there's 2 grams of carbs. There's also 2 grams of fiber. So
and only 12 milligrams of sodium,
Yeah.
which is kind of a surprise.
My understanding is this is just basically water and a little bit of fiber. That's what this food is made out of. So the way you cook this is that you have to first rinse it really well, and then
Because it smells like fish.
it smells fishy. Yeah. So if you open it up and you smell that and you're off put by that, just know that that's not what it's going to taste like at the end. It should really taste like nothing in the end, but you're going to rinse it. And then for fettuccine, for pasta, you're actually going to boil it for a little while, drain it again, and then pan fry it to get some of this moisture out, because it is that's why it's packaged in water. The last thing that we're going to use is this cool keto-friendly bread. This is also another great Aldi find.
This is just going to be on the side for this meal. Just buttered bread or what?
No, we're
Garlic
gonna
toast.
just make it into garlic toast.
Gotcha.
Since, we can make garlic bread, a low-carb garlic bread, but what I like about this is it's 0 carbs.
Yes.
So, so it has a good bit of fiber too. So it has 9 grams of fiber for every slice. We're gonna have 2 slices, so we'll get a good bit of our fiber for the day just by having 2 slices. It'll only be 80 calories for 2 slices and 0 net carbs. You can't beat that.
No, you can't.
And it tastes really good. The wheat version.
I like the grain version also, but in fact, I don't know if I've had the wheat version.
Well, once you taste the wheat, you will not go back to the other
Okay,
one. This
awesome.
is superior.
I trust you on that.
And, if you were to pull it out of here and eat it, you would probably be able to tell the difference. But once you toast it, or even if you don't toast it and you put some butter on it or use it for avocado toast or whatever, it tastes great. It tastes just like bread.
Great.
I'm gonna open this up, and we're gonna give it the smell test with Megs here in a second, just to see what she thinks of it. Now this may be 1 serving for some people, and that's okay, because it's only 10 calories for the whole package and 0 net carbs. We're just gonna use 1, unless you want lots of extra noodles.
No, I'm fine with this.
So Megs, smell test. What do you think? Can you smell it? No, she doesn't even want to smell it. She can smell it from there. It is a fishy. It is pretty fishy smelling. So we're just gonna rinse it for a good minute or 2. And then once we rinsed it really good, we're also gonna boil it. Not because it has to cook. It's pretty much ready to eat. But because the boiling will help take away some of the smell.
And it's not so pungent that this room is. I didn't smell it at all.
Yeah, no.
Maybe I have COVID, but I didn't smell anything. So.
No, I think you have to kind of get down into it
Yeah.
to smell it. All right, so the meatballs have been in here for 15 minutes. They're not supposed to be completely done because we still have a little bit of baking to do. They probably are close to being done, I think. But we're now going to add some marinara, or whatever this is called, the spicy Fra Diablo sauce. I'm sure I'm murdering that.
That's all right.
So we're gonna use a cup total. I gotta make sure that a little bit of this goes over these. Yeah, I think that's good.
Great.
And then we're gonna put a half cup more of the mozzarella. There's a quarter of a cup. And then we're gonna pop this back in the oven for about another 5 to 10 minutes. About 10 minutes. Okay, so now we're gonna put it into a very hot wok and fry them. And if you smell it, it honestly smells like nothing. Maybe even a little like pasta. I don't know if that's because we cook so much pasta in this, or put so much pasta through the. But we're gonna pan fry this for 5 or 10 minutes, and the point is just to release some of the water. You're never gonna get it all gone, but and with a wok, because it gets so hot, you may not even have to do it for that long. Okay, we decided to go ahead and add about a tablespoon of butter to that, and a little bit of garlic salt, just to give the noodles some flavor.
Shelly is adding a little black pepper there. The heat is turned off the noodles now. It's been maybe 2 minutes.
And taste test. See if it tastes anything, what it tastes like.
God, that was hot. Jesus. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really taste like much of anything. But it doesn't taste bad. It doesn't taste fishy.
The butter and the seasonings help. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think once you get some pasta over it, you'll never know the difference.
Yep. Fresh out of the oven. Here's our garlic toast. It's just a little butter spread on there, Irish butter, and some garlic salt.
And I don't know if you were the same, but like growing up, that's the only thing we had. We didn't.
Oh, yeah,
I didn't know
this
what
is
garlic bread was.
Yeah, this is
It
poor
was
man's
always
garlic bread.
toast.
So Shelly has just put a bed of the pasta down here, pulled the meatballs directly out of the pan, added the garlic bread, and we are ready to eat.